Dinner ends. The bill lands beside someone whose rent is due Friday. One hand moves toward the check, while another fact stays invisible to the table. The household already has a job for that money. The choice looks public. The constraint is private. The bill has two prices. One is printed in dollars. The other is social. What will this room think of me if I do not pay? That second price may feel vague, but the response is immediate. Approval arrives now. The financial trade-off waits until the audience is gone. Research on platinum credit cards found that visible status features could affect demand in a specific high-income Indonesian market. That does not prove why anyone pays a restaurant bill. It supports one narrower idea. A choice can be valuable partly because other people can see what it says about us. A separate field experiment in charitable solicitation showed that social pressure can change giving decisions. A doorstep appeal is not a dinner table, so the finding should not be stretched. But it reveals a useful question. If nobody were watching, would the same amount still feel like the right choice? This is not rich wisdom or poor vanity. People at many income levels protect identities they care about. Generous, capable, successful, unbothered. Call the mechanism identity maintenance. The label is useful only if it turns judgment inward. Which version of me am I trying to display, and what is the display costing? The applause lasts minutes. The obligation travels home. CFPB research links saving habits and emergency buffers with greater bill-paying resilience and financial well-being, but it does not say one dinner causes hardship. The practical point is smaller. When a social gesture spends the buffer, tomorrow inherits a choice it did not make. Before answering, separate 3 questions. Can I afford this tonight without borrowing from a near-term obligation? Is paying genuinely how I want to use the money, and how much of the urge comes from the audience? A yes to one question does not answer the other 2. Keep the ledgers separate. A 10-second pause can interrupt the performance without turning generosity into bureaucracy. Ask, what amount was I comfortable with before the bill arrived? What obligation follows me home? Would I choose the same amount without witnesses? If the answer is no, what smaller gesture still expresses care without exporting the cost? Bounded generosity is still generosity. You can cover one person instead of the table. Set a number before the night starts. Rotate who hosts. Offer time, attention, or practical help instead of a large payment. Or simply say, I am keeping tonight within my plan. A limit does not require a courtroom defense. The goal is not to become cold, suspicious, or perfectly optimized. It is to keep warmth and choice in the same room. Friends can split a bill without ranking one another. Families can discuss limits before a public moment. Groups can make reciprocity visible across time, so one dramatic gesture is not the only proof of care. The next time generosity becomes a performance, do not ask whether the gesture looks big. Ask whether the choice remains kind after the room disappears. Who receives the approval tonight? Who absorbs the obligation tomorrow? If those are different people, pause long enough to let tomorrow participate.